Hey guys, welcome back to Mayday-san Airsoft in Japan, and today we are talking about my favorite Airsoft pistol. And before we start, I'd like to welcome you all to ask any questions in the comment section down below, and we will address it in the next video. Doesn't have to be about Airsoft, it could be about anything. So before we can get to my super amazing favorite pistol, we have to talk about the ones that I used before in my entire journey that led up to this being my favorite pistol right here. Some of them I don't even have anymore. Some of them I've sold, so that's a shame, but we'll be throwing up some gameplay or relevant pictures for you guys to see it in action or whatever it was. So the first pistol I ever owned was the USP9, okay? And we're gonna talk about what's good and what's bad. So the USP9, it had really good kick, and it was very accurate and efficient, and it was the goddamn COD 4 pistol. Not quite, it wasn't the USP45, it was the USP9, and I got it solely for the reason of not being generic. I wanted something unique. I wanted something that was like nobody really had, but it turned out a lot of people have it. And its big factor is that it has a lot of kick, which is, it really does. Had a huge chunky slide, and it was just, oh man, I think it's still my favorite pistol to this day in terms of its blowback, aside from CO2 guns, but great. Though it did have its problems. The grip was too small. It was a 4.3, and the grip was about the size of a Glock 19. So it did fit in like a chest rig, but it didn't fit in my hand because like I have big man hands, so like it would kind of just stop at my pinky, and it was kind of uncomfortable to hold. I would flick the safety whenever I drew the pistol because that's the way it's positioned. The way the iron sights are kind of lined up doesn't give you a really good consistent sight picture just because of the way the gun is. It doesn't have a really pronounced duckbill or a back strap, so it was kind of just a really weirdly cumbersome pistol to use when it started getting into like tactical proficiency kind of stuff. It was just kind of really chonky boy, and it also didn't have support for any custom parts. Didn't have an outer barrel. I did get iron sights for it, but those fell off really quickly. I did get magazine leaks over time. Couldn't put a tracer on it. Couldn't put a flashlight on it. And I couldn't fit it in my Omnivore because you needed to put this Picatinny rail on it. And then it was just super, super chunky boy, and it just didn't fit in the Omnivore. Out of 150 pistols it could hold, it couldn't fit the USP. So I stopped using it for a while because I couldn't get a holster for it. But then I found a holster, and then I started using it again. But then I couldn't use that holster with a flashlight. I had to use it. I had to make a choice whether or not to use the USP with a flashlight, which required me to screw on that stupid little baby piece, or to run it naked, so I couldn't have a flashlight option. So as I was getting more tactical, I really wanted to have a flashlight on my pistol, and it just wasn't making the cut. So it took a bench, and I sold it recently because I just wasn't using it anymore. Now, my second pistol is the Hi-Capa Gold Match. It was the second pistol I bought. I bought it secondhand off my boy. And it was my first venture into Hi-Capas and the 1911 platform. The controls on it were very ergonomic, or they were supposed to be, though it was an old pistol. I think it was about 3 years old. So a lot of the parts were kind of janky and loose already. So it wasn't really the most robust pistol. It was also very, very weak on the blowback side because it's supposed to be an efficient pistol. And after coming from the USP9 to the low blowback of the Hi-Capa, I was just so like disappointed. But you know, Hi-Capas are supposed to be like those builds where like you got to make the most efficient, spray and pray kind of thing, have a lot of mags, and run as a solo pistol thing. But I don't know, I couldn't get into it. What I did like about it though was it had great ergonomics for those controls. It had awesome reloads because of the magwell. It had a slew of custom parts. You ended up putting a DCI outer barrel on that, and like it had really nice iron sights. Like the iron sights are fucking clean. I love them because that nice serrated back with the red dot, and it could fit a flashlight, so it was really nice to use. But I don't know, after I lost a couple mags for it, and then I had leaks on a couple of the mags. I was supposed to revive the Hi-Capa by replacing you know, the magazines. But then the hammer broke as well. The hammer broke. What else broke? The outer barrel was kind of loose. The hop was kind of meh. I had to like change a whole bunch of parts, and I was just like, you know what? I'm never gonna use this thing, and I wanted it to be my tracer solo pistol, but I never ended up using it. So kind of just decided to part ways with it. And the gold, I don't know, it was cool at the beginning, but then I'm over the gold, man. I like to have the FDE and the black. That's basically my thing. I just want more down to earth stuff. I just found it kind of tacky. No more gold for me, so sold that thing away as well, even though it was my tracer pistol. But I have a new tracer pistol now. Anyway, third pistol after that was the M45A1. Now, this one I actually have. It's right here, okay? It's a toy. Prove empty. Nice. Hammer down. Airsoft magazine. Okay. So, that being said, the M45A1 was the pistol I wanted to get before the Hi-Capa. I wanted to get this instead. And I remember watching a lot of reviews on it. But I ended up getting a deal from my friend for the Hi-Capa, so I went for the Hi-Capa instead. That being said, I still think this pistol is really sexy. Now, in order to understand why this is not my favorite pistol, we have to understand how I play Airsoft here in Japan. You don't have to do this. This is completely my own choice, but I play real count magazines as much as I can. So I run 7 rounds on this M45. I don't fill it up to 21. I fill it up to 7, which is like barely even here, okay? The reason I do that, I don't know. It's just, I just want to do that. I like the challenge. I like the immersion of it. So that being said, this is not a viable pistol to be a solo pistol at all. It's not a viable pistol to run a lot of mags with. It really is just a secondary firearm for me. It's basically, I got it so we could match my my Mark 18. I just wanted to have it for the cosplay, and I just wanted to have a solid 1911 that just wasn't so flashy. It was just super nice and super clean. I was gonna get the government, but the government, I don't like the government. The government has terrible efficiency. It's just weak. It's bad, and it doesn't have any support for a rail. So that's why I like the M45. I could throw a flashlight on here. It has really nice blowback because it has that modified engine with the stage spring and a new blowback housing and all that stuff. And I got it for a really good price. And also the safety doesn't get in the way. The only thing I don't like about the M45 or the 1911 design in general is this grip safety here. So like if you happen to do an awkward angle around a corner, good luck. You got to have a nice solid grip with this thing, but it has really nice iron sights once you get the grip down. This is not a weapon for, or a toy anyway, for amateurs. You definitely got to know your way around the 1911 and really practice as well. Okay. But I liked the M45A1, but because of its ammo capacity and gas efficiency capacity as well, it's not a popular choice for me to use, but I got it for cheap, and it's just classic. You just got to have the 1911 in your armory. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Okay. Next is the Vorpal Bunny. Don't have that anymore. I'm going to put that up on the screen. I bought it for the memes. I bought it because it was limited edition, but then the novelty kind of wore off on it. It's basically the 1911, has single stack. And honestly, it was just too impractical. It didn't have flashlight support. It didn't have tracer support. Didn't have custom part support. It could fit the M45 mag, which is really cool, but that was it. It just stopped there. And I don't really run solo pistols as much as I try to make builds for them. I just can't. I just don't. There's just no point. I don't know. I'd rather have a carbine, or I'd rather have an SMG. Sidearms really are for me just as an emergency tool or as a way to like pie really, really tight corners. And that's why I use a pistol as a sidearm. It's not never as a primary. Sometimes as a primary, but ammo limitations really hold me back from going solo pistol. And also any engagement over 20 meters gets really hard without a red dot. And I don't have any red dots on any of my pistols as of yet. So Vorpal Bunny, good meme gun. I got about like 70% of the money back for it. So all is good in love and war. Now, next one I got is the Glock 17. This guy, this little baby boy, I did not like Glocks when I first started using them. Okay, so before we talk about this, prove empty. Okay, hammer down, prove empty. Okay, so the Glock 17 is the most generic pistol. Everybody uses it. And after a long time of refusing to get a Glock, I decided to get one because I was getting into T-Rex arms and tac training. And just, I don't know. I think that's when I realized that the USP was not very tactical friendly. and the Glock was more compact, it was more realistic, and it was easier to get a sight picture. And the way that the box and the back strap kind of fits in my hand, it's just perfect, and it gets me a really nice consistent sight picture every time, just naturally. Has a striker system too, so I like that. I was never really a fan of hammers. The controls are really nice on this thing. The slider release is really nice on this thing. The efficiency is nice. The mag capacity is nice. Remember, I run real cap, so 17 rounds, so it's really nice. One thing I really like about the Glock is the trigger safety. So the trigger safety is really nice. So one of the bad things, again, about the M45 is that if you don't have the grip on, you can't pull the trigger, right? So that's kind of the bad thing about that. But with the Glock, the nice thing about the trigger safety is that you're only pulling the trigger when you know you're going to pull that trigger. Also, it's a polymer slide, and it has really, really snappy recoil, really like a pop recoil rather than a clack. And it has a lot of custom parts support. So this also has a DCI outer barrel, so I can throw a suppressor on this thing. It has the staged spring guide, so it has double recoil, I guess, the new engine, everything. And it's very, 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 very poppy. You can put a flashlight on it really easily without having to do any screws. And it has back strap support. This is the Gen 4, so because of my big hands, I can really just get a nice firm grip on this pistol like that. Bad thing about it, it's all plastic, so it's kind of toy-ish. It also runs on fluon gas, so during the winter, it's going to be probably pretty hard to use this thing. Yeah, other than that, this thing fits like a glove, and it's probably my go-to pistol when it comes to any of my loadouts, just because it's just so universal, and it's just really, really nice and just fits in my hand like a glove. Now, the last pistol I have here, and you guys have seen this, is the M17. Prove empty. Good. Hammer down. Prove empty. Okay. So, the M17 CO2. This is my first CO2 gun, and I have yet to actually use this thing at the time of this recording. But after doing my unboxing of it, I really like the CO2 blowback. That is some next level shit. It's really, really nice. It's really, really good. I like the sight picture on this thing. I like how it fits in my hand like a glove. I like how there's plenty of space. I like the extended mag. I like the trigger. It's really nice and light. And honestly, the ergonomics of the M17 is really nice, and goddamn, it looks really fucking cool. Nice grip as well, and it can also fit a flashlight. I might upgrade this to an outer barrel to put suppressors on it. It will get rid of the tilt here, and it will also get rid of this metal clack sound, even though it is a polymer slide. But at the cost of being able to put suppressors on this thing, which would be cool. It holds 21 rounds as well, so it is my highest capacity gas blowback pistol. It's also very efficient. I like the controls. The slide release is right there. The safety is kind of meh, but it's really nice. Really, really nice. And the only thing I don't like about this pistol right now is that the performance is kind of hit and miss. Literally, the hop needs to be broken in, so I'm not hitting targets at 5 meters, so I'm going to have to shoot a couple hundred shots to get this thing to break in. But after that, I think this thing will be pretty goddamn Gucci. So, after all that being said, what is my favorite pistol? After thinking about everything, I'm sure the ones that I sold are not my favorite pistol. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, because it's my most used. It's my Glock 17, and it still is, with the M17 being a very, very close competitor. I'm sure my mind will change once I use this thing for a couple weeks or a couple months, couple games, whatever it may be. But for now, it is still my Glock 17. I still love this thing. I love the ergonomics. I love how it fits in my hand. I love how tactical it is. It's compact. It's not as chonky. And it just works. It's just super accurate. It's just very, 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 very well built. That Tokyo Metal quality, man. If I have to sell all my guns, nah, I'd probably keep the Glock. I'd probably keep the Glock. But yeah, favorite pistol, still got to be the G17. This thing is just built. It just feels built for me. It's just built different. And the M17, very, very, very close second. We'll see how that goes. M45, just a classic. And the rest of them, well, that's history. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite gas blowback pistol is, if it even is one. I know a lot of people like the Mark 23. People like Springer pistols. Oh, the MCX is technically a pistol. I don't know. Anyway, guys, let me know. Ask a question, and we'll answer it next week on Thespian Thursdays. Goodbye.